start the show. So, start the segment. Hey YouTube, please like, subscribe if you like the video, click that notification bell, and we'll be on our way. So, first news that fucking Joe Rogan dumbass made another post of like COVID misinformation and shit, and this shit was funny, but it also has problems with it because we'll just get through it. So I have found this article that pretty much perfectly summarizes the entire video. Joe Rogan has had to clarify an embarrassing blunder after making satire for a public service advertisement. The podcast host was forced to edit an Instagram post after he condemned what he thought was a health ad about the COVID-19 vaccine turned out to be a comedy skit. Rogan lashed out at Australia and called the country and its pandemic response dystopian when he confused the skit for government propaganda against vaccine skeptics. The Joe Rogan Experience host shared a clip of a sketch from ABC show Durin on his Instagram page on Monday with the caption, "Not only Australia has the worst reaction to pandemic with dystopian police state measures and that are truly inconceivable to the rest of the civilized world, but they also have the absolute dumbest propaganda." And I'm not gonna read this part because we are gonna watch the video, and I have it pulled up right here. So let me start from the very beginning. Hopefully, yeah, I need to put that volume down. Hopefully, it doesn't blast my ears off.
You're having a reaction. You gonna be fine? Hold still.
Wait, what brand EpiPen is it?
I don't know.
What's in it?
Medicine.
Medicine? How long is it research for?
I don't know.
What are the stats from Europe?
You could die.
What does Joe Rogan say? God, Joe.
We don't question the science when our life depends on it. So why question it when millions of lives depend on it? Science has our backs. Get the vax.
Yeah, that was the entire video, and here we go. I have him pulled up, and he edited it with, apparently this is not a real ad. It's from a satirical show. He didn't even apologize either, which is the weirdest part. He just said, "Oh, apparently this is just a real ad." He didn't say, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought this was a real ad. It's my mistake. It's my fault." No, he just said, apparently it's not real. It's from a satirical show. It just shows that he still believes everything he says, and I think he believes that he's not wrong for saying that either. The facts. The podcast giant received multiple comments from people who found amusing that he mistook satire for a real ad. However, this is not the first time Rogan has lashed out at Australia and his coronavirus response. In August, a 54-year-old called the country like done crazy on his podcast after defense personnel were brought in to patrol coronavirus hotspots in New South Wales. There's some crazy shit going on right now where the army is trying to keep people inside in Australia, he said. Per Perth now, they have full on government lockdowns where the government is flying helicopters over the streets and telling people go back in the doors. You're not allowed to be outside, which is crazy. Rogan himself caused controversy about COVID earlier this year when he announced that he threw the kitchen sink at the virus in order to get better and used a controversial drug, ivermectin, to treat it. And that is pretty much the entire article right here. But of course, we know he's wrong, and it's funny for like a comedian like him, even to like not even know that skit was a comedy skit and not a real propaganda piece. So it's funny because Joe Rogan, when I did like him, I liked him for the things that he did say about drugs and other shit about that, like weed and like his experience like on that. But I never ever liked his comedy style. I never found it interesting. I never watched any of his stand up because I just didn't find him funny. I thought he was just more as he was interesting to me when he told like stories about himself and other people and his interactions with his guests on this podcast. But yeah, right now though, because he keeps making mistake after mistake after mistake on COVID and against transgender people, and that made me lose pretty much all respect for him. I don't like him at all anymore. I think he's just an idiot, and it's funny how when people say like he's platforming like wrong like misinformation, COVID misinformation. He says, "I'm an idiot. Don't listen to me." Like that's just an easy pass. Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know that. I didn't know you're an idiot. And millions of people still don't listen to you. I'm sorry. I did not know that. But yeah, this is also not the first time he's been anti-vax. Like, I forgot it was earlier. No, I think it was earlier last year. He said this. I feel like you should get vaccinated if you're vulnerable, he says. I think you should get vaccinated if you feel like my parents are vaccinated. I've encouraged a lot of people to get, and people say, do you think it's safe to get vaccinated? I've said, yeah, I think for the most part, it's safe to get vaccinated. I do. But if you're like 21 years old and you say to me, should I get vaccinated? I'll go, no. He continued, are you healthy? Are you a healthy person? Like, look, don't do anything stupid. But you should take care of yourself. You should. If you're a healthy person and you think exercise is the time and you're young and you're eating well, like, I don't think you need to worry about this. Which is also so much dumb because I feel like right now, everybody is pretty much vulnerable. There's a small minority that doesn't get any symptoms, but, that's a small minority. Most people, and you don't even know that you're asymptomatic until you get it. So everybody right now is vulnerable. So when he said you should get vaccinated if you're vulnerable, that means everybody should get vaccinated. But he thinks like, oh, but you're 21 years old and you shouldn't get vaccinated because, you're a healthy person. But of course, just because you're a healthy person doesn't mean that if you get COVID, you still might beat it, but you might get long COVID, long-term effects of COVID. And, if you get vaccinated, there's a higher likelihood of not getting long COVID and just passing it through, a more likelihood than just not doing anything and not being vaccinated. So, yeah, this pretty much, I think this was like the start of his decline for me when he said this shit. And then when I became more left-leaning, and watching more people argue against Joe Rogan and his points about trans people and sports, that also like made me have less and less respect for him. And I also have oh yeah, and he said like Australia is, wait, before we get to that, I want to go to this first. Yeah, like long-term effects for COVID is coughing, tiredness, headaches, loss of taste or smell, numbness, muscle pain, memory loss, or difficulty breathing, focusing, and tight chest. And it also causes this huge thing in men mostly called erectile dysfunction. So boys, chaps, fellas, brothers, comrades, bruvs, men, please, do you want ED? You don't want ED. I don't want ED. You don't want ED. So please get vaccinated. Please get vaccinated. I'm already vaccinated. ED, erectile dysfunction. That would ruin your life right there. You don't want that shit. You don't want it. Man, you don't want that. But yeah, again, like, of course, and some people say, only people with underlying conditions pretty much have gotten the worst effects of COVID, but underlying health condition could mean obesity if you're obese. And let me see, how many people in America are obese? In the United States, 36.5% of adults are obese. Another 5% adults are overweight. and more than 2/3 of adults in America are overweight and obese. So that means you have an underlying health condition if you are obese, and that's a huge chunk of our population in America that could be subjected to the worst effects of COVID. So again, if you have that, please, 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 please get vaccinated. You know, it only helps you. There's a small percent of chance that you can die or get bad reaction to the vaccine, but it's a way lower chance of that happening than getting COVID itself. You know, so please, please, please get vaccinated. And also, I want to go back. Joe Rogan talks about like Australia, like it's this huge, like authoritarian fucking regime going on there, where all the citizens are unhappy. They want to leave. They want to go outside. They want to go into other countries. But this generally is not the case. Because I put up this, I looked it up, and this New York Times article says that Australians generally are a little annoyed, but they know overall this is the best way to deal with COVID, and they rather have this than have COVID rampant in their country, like over here. But many Australians, while frustrated, see something else. Asked if the sacrifices have been worth it, they look to their neighbors, their community leaders, the millions of people waiting in long lines for vaccine, and the tens of thousands of Australians who have died of COVID without all the restrictions. And their answers with caveats or zeal has generally been the same. Yes, it is worth it, or yes, we believe it will be. To understand why, I explored both Australia's and the one with the COVID with roughly population. Okay, never mind. It was just pretty much this, just the top part where, of course, you can read this article. I will post it in the description of the YouTube video, and all the other articles that I found in this particular segment. But yeah, man, like Joe Rogan has like gone downhill so fast, man. And like again, seeing that and him not condemning his friends who are obviously like alt-right and white supremacist figures, like he's still friends. I think he's still friends, but he was friends with Stefan Molyneux, who's like a known white supremacist. Uh, even when he was big, Stefan Molyneux was big, everybody knew he was a white supremacist, and Joe Rogan was still friends with him. He's still friends with Jordan Peterson, Ben Shapiro, and Steven Crowder, who is 100% a white supremacist. I do believe that, and a racist piece of shit. So I see the people Joe Rogan surrounds himself with, and you know, I don't know if Joe Rogan is racist, but he is definitely transphobic, and he's definitely an idiot. So they might be using him for that, but also, you know, you should know better to, you know, surround yourself with racist white supremacists and shit. So yeah, that's pretty much it on this segment. So cut the segment, guys. Cut the segment.